Steph.
Hey, Hannah.
Welcome back to another episode of Bariatric Banter podcast.
Here we go.
We're still here.
What is it? 15? Is this 15?
15. This is 15. Yep.
Nice.
I know.
Look at us.
15,000 downloads. Like, look at us go. Look at this little podcast that could.
I love it.
I do too. I have big hopes that one day we'll be laughing about, getting 1,000 downloads in a week instead of 15 episodes. But that's 3 months for us, like give or take. That's not bad.
Yeah. I'm more than happy with
I'm
it's
ecstatic.
going.
Yeah. If it doesn't go anywhere from here, I couldn't even care because it's just been a blast. And I just like talking with everybody. So it's great.
Right? No, and I was talking to somebody the other day too. And I said, even if it didn't take off, it's just so like fun and cathartic and therapeutic just for us to get this stuff off of our chest and out there and talk about it. So selfishly, I like it either way.
Cathartic was the word of the day because I was literally going to say it's cathartic to just talk through this, talk to you. I literally was walking with a friend who lives near here. We walk our dogs together, and she was saying, "Oh, I listen." She listens in Spanish, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know that." Wow. I didn't even know we were in Spanish. Like, very cool. I love that. But she she was reciting parts of the episode. She's like, "Oh, when you started talking about inositol, like it's really funny. I just talked to my doctor about it." And I was like, And then I listened to your episode and like you guys talked about how it's a supplement you've tried. And I was like, that's it. Okay. Gonna try it. And I was like, okay, we're not medical experts, just gonna throw that out there. But no, she was like, I love listening. And I went, oh my God, there's people that I would never have imagined listening to this podcast.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
I want to know what we sound like in Spanish.
I know. It's going to be great. I want to know what my accent sounds like and what voice they picked for me.
Right? That's what I want to know. And do we get like Spanish names?
I don't even know what a Spanish Hannah would be, but like
I don't know.
I was going to try, and then I was like, let's not get canceled on episode 15. Let's just not do that. So we'll see what it's like.
That's really cool.
Very cool, right? So that's kind of where today's topic came from, actually, was something she mentioned. And I said to Steph, oh my gosh, I think we should jump on this for today's podcast episode. She kind of said to me, so you tried everything before surgery, right? And nothing worked. And then you found surgery. And I very quickly was like, oh, no, I did not try everything. And she was like, oh, well, I thought that's why you had surgery. And I was like, well, I tried things and they weren't working, but like there was a lot of other reasons that led me to surgery. And I was like, and if I reflect now on what I was like before surgery, I absolutely did not try. I wasn't trying consistently because she made a comment like, were you as disciplined back then as you are now? And I could have spit take in the middle of the street and laughed so hard. I was like, no, I wasn't. I thought I was, but I was like, no, I was so no. So I messaged Steph and I said, I think we need to talk about us before surgery and what life was really like before surgery and what led us to surgery. Because there's kind of this misconception that Steph and I must have been these like super athletes, literally trying everything in the world and dieting like crazy, and it just didn't work. And so we turned to surgery. No, we tried. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a reason we picked surgery, but I don't want people to think that they have to try the entire world before surgery. Like there's some sort of prerequisite, but also I want people to maybe kind of hear from our reflections now. And it might be a hard truth, but maybe they'll reflect and go, oh, I'm doing that right now, because I was in a very big state of denial and lack of oblivious signs back before surgery.
Yeah, I think you made a good point when you said the word consistently, because like we did try things and we did do diets and we did exercise, but number one, was it consistent? Probably not. And when you made the comment about, like were we this disciplined back then? No, I thought I went through phases where I was disciplined, not this discipline.
No.
Like I went through phases where I busted my butt with a personal trainer. I worked with a nutritionist. I worked with a
Mhm.
mindset coach. And during those stints, yeah, I busted my butt and I was
Of
dedicated.
course.
Could I have given more looking back on it now? In some of those instances, yes.
Yes.
But if you would have told previous Steph that she'd be getting up every morning at 4:50 to work out, I would have exactly I would have spit like I said, I would have spit my water or whatever all over you and burst out laughing. Like there is no way God's green earth
None.
that Steph's ever getting up at 4:45 to work out. No.
No. I once tried to work out before work back when we had to be in the office for work. One day that's going to date me very much when someone listens to it. And it was miserable, even though I am a morning workout person. I'm not going to lie. I am a roll out of bed, walk the dog, strap my shoes on, go for a run runner, which there's opinions on how bad that is to not fuel before you go, but I tried to work out before work and I just like I'd give up miserably. I also think I started multiple workout plans in the winter because, January, new me, new year. Nobody's going to build and stick a
Yeah.
workout plan in January. It's cold, it's dark, it's miserable. We all feel like pure shit. Don't start in the middle of winter. Um, but it's true. It's exactly what you said. There was no discipline, and I can admit that now. There was sporadic attempts, but the thing is, those sporadic attempts were always, and I'd be curious to hear what you think, Steph. They were always like 0 to 100. There was no in between. It was like, "Oh, okay, now I'm on keto." What the fuck? Like just full keto out of nowhere, like cold turkey? Or it's like, "Well, now I'm seeing a personal trainer 5 days a week and it's like I'm training for an Ironman and we're going to lift heavy weights and run like crazy and do hill sprints." And I look back on that now and I go, there was no way you were going to stick with any of that because you went from obese to fucking the rock in your mind. Like you thought that this was going to be sustainable. And I look back now and go, whoa, I went too hard too fast every single time. Every time.
Yeah. It's funny you say keto because I did the same thing. I was like, okay, we're
Why'd you
gonna do this. We're
keto?
gonna go keto. And same thing, full in, like
Oh,
empty
yeah.
the fridge, empty the cupboard, go grocery
Hmm.
shopping full in keto. And it was a mix of, I would say that, like going all into something, thinking that was the way to succeed.
Yeah.
And then the other part was when I did have somebody to rein me in, like when I did personal training once a week, same thing before work. I
Yep.
would go to his place, do the workout, go home, get ready, and head to work. And
Yeah.
same, I love having my workout done in the morning now. I don't like getting up at 4:45, but I love the feeling of having my
Being
workout
done.
done. It's off my
Hmm.
list, and I love the energy it gives me throughout the day
So
and the
much.
difference in my morning, yada yada. That's a whole
Yeah.
nother discussion. However, like I said, it was either I would go all into something, or when I did work with somebody to rein me in, it was disappointment because I had unrealistic expectations.
Way
I would think
unrealistic.
that, right, okay, well, if I'm going to work with a trainer, I should be able to do this and lift this and do this and do this and do this. And I should see this movement on the scale and I should lose this much weight. And that's why I always say now, like if you watch my Instagram stories, I always talk about small, achievable goals and
Yes.
not 5 of them, 2 of them. Set yourself up with small, achievable goals so that you succeed, so you see success, so you build confidence, you build the excitement, you
Mhm.
have the wins, and then go from there. So I either went balls to the wall
Yeah.
or had total unrealistic expectations when I had somebody trying to tell me, Steph, this is the realistic approach. And I just didn't want to hear it.
I would combine both oftentimes. Balls to the wall, unrealistic expectations. In reality, like consider like 2 pounds a week is considered like a really
Excessive. Exactly.
accelerated, insane weight loss plan. 2 pounds a week. And yet here I was thinking, I'm going to work out like crazy and drop 100 pounds in 3 months, right? Like the truth was I probably was losing weight, but I'd give up before I ever saw anything happen because in my mind it should have been happening faster and sooner. And here we go.
Hmm.
The other thing is I did exactly what you said. I'd go all in. So I'm going to do keto. And there's an excitement And I'm sure we should get a therapist on to
Yeah.
talk about this. There's an excitement when you're like, oh, I'm going to do keto and look at all the success everyone else has had. Oh my God, I'm going to be skinny and this is
Mhm.
going to be great. And I know a friend of a friend of a friend who did it and they had great
Mhm.
success with it. I can't wait. So I'm going to go buy all these products and that's going to make me feel
All
really
the
good because I
things.
bought these products. And oh my God, did you know they make keto pizza and keto chicken wings and keto? And so I'm going to buy
Yeah,
all
with
these
chocolate.
things. Yeah, that like I wasn't buying chocolate bars before, but sure, it's keto. So I'm going
Now
to
I
buy
am. Of
chocolate bars. So I'm going
course.
to buy all these things and like 8 different cookbooks and all this meal prep stuff. And I'm so excited. And then you start keto and you realize this is the most miserable fucking diet I've ever been on. It doesn't taste good. There's no flexibility. The second you eat a fruit or you fall out of ketosis, you have to re fucking start and you start to lose the excitement and the thrill and the instant gratification you got because you thought it was going to be really easy. Like in your mind, you knew it was going to be work, but you convinced yourself, well, look at all the stuff I bought and I'm going to get this off the ground and this is going to be so good and it's going to change my whole life. And you are like front loading major expectations. This would be like if you were dating and you were like, I'm going to get on a dating app and I'm going to have a husband by tomorrow and Steph, I just
And
chatted
then
with
we
him
get
and
married
I'm going to
right away.
marry him and we're moving here and my last name is going to be Smith. You'd be like, whoa. But we do it with diets. Like we immediately go way to the end of the road and assume like I'm going to get that and it's going to be great. Um, and this is why I'd fail. I could do a meal plan and a meal prep or diet for a bit, and then it didn't address any of the underlying problems. I didn't think about any of the underlying problems. And so there would be a binge day. There'd be a day I fell off the wagon. I
Oh,
wouldn't really know what I was doing because I didn't research in the right ways. So, like, you think you're healthy and you're not counting calories or tracking
you're
anything.
not.
And some of the healthiest food is the worst food. And the, in the sense that, like, is a carrot bad for you? No. But what I mean is marketed as
No.
low fat, healthy, high protein. They're often way off the record with calories. And a great example is one of
Yeah.
the things I thought would help me lose weight was the meal box services. I'm about to call some people out. So, Hello Fresh, make good food, chef's plate, things like that. They'll never sponsor us, Steph, so just buckle up. I thought, well, this
No,
is how
it's
you get
fine.
healthy because
We're good.
everybody said, oh, Hannah, it's like pre-made. It's really good for you. And I went, it's pre-made, it's
It's
portioned. This
everything
is
you need. You don't have to
awesome.
think about it.
No, this is so great. So I bought them and I just thought because they were
Yeah.
there, they must have all been
We did
healthy. And
it
I,
too.
I spent probably 3 months eating this stuff. And then one day I kind of was like, I need to look at the macros a little closer, maybe, just I want to check something because I had just kind of started
Yeah.
to learn about macros more than just calories. And I looked at these things and I could
Yeah.
have died. Like the serving size, some of the calories were 1,200 calories a serving. And I sometimes would eat both servings.
And you
like,
probably weren't eating a survey.
but it's not a big
Yeah.
serving. The serving is like
Yeah.
this big for those meal delivery services. So you would definitely be eating two. And I was like, I'm eating 900
Oh yeah.
calories in one fucking meal a day. And
Yep.
at that point I
One
went,
sitting.
oh, never again. Never again. So I'm not blaming others
No.
because
And the
we
other
will
thing
get
with
to
yeah.
accountability in a minute, but you go for it.
I was gonna say the other thing with keto that I've learned now, things like keto or any of those types of Atkins, whatever they are, and especially with my kids now, I'm really starting to hone into good food and bad food and labeling
Mm,
foods. And that's one of the things with diets like keto that you have to be cautious of because
yes,
that's when you start getting into the mindsets of, oh, I can't have carbs. They're bad for me. I can't have fruit. It's bad for me. I can't have
bad for
this.
me,
It's
bad
bad
for
for
me.
me. And that really messes with you
Mhm.
and it messes with your mindset. It leads to things like binging because a lot of us are those people where if you tell me I can't have something, you damn well bet I'm going to go have it.
Mhm.
So I'm really cognizant now, like I said, especially with my kids, is not labeling foods as good and bad, labeling foods as better than others or better choices and
Mhm.
explaining why they're a better choice. But I'm
Okay.
really I'm really not a fan anymore of the diets that say one food is bad for you than the other. I don't like that mindset, and I think it sets you up for problems down the road.
It
Personal
does,
opinion.
and there was a great Instagram that said, she was a binge eater or something like that, and the dietitian made her go out and buy her binge food and keep her binge food in the house, and a lot of people were like,
Yeah.
"This is stupid, fire her." And she said, "I actually love it because her whole goal is I will eventually eat so much of this, I'll be sick of it, and it will no longer be a novelty." And that was a huge turning point for me when I
Mhm.
realized I have novelty foods, that are too easily accessible, that because I think of them as bad and shouldn't have, or as a reward, I
Yeah,
will overeat them.
and you want them.
Mhm. Versus
Yeah,
just making better choices
yeah.
that I'm
No,
always
it
gonna crave a sweet treat. I'm always gonna
yeah,
crave popcorn or stuff. So don't buy chips, buy popcorn. You
yeah,
need a sweet treat. Why don't you get like actually
yeah.
wagon wheels are pretty low calorie and they are graham cracker marshmallow and chocolate. So I now I keep alternatives that I never
Or you
would
have them
allow in the
once
house
a month
before.
instead of every day.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
You still have them, you just don't have them as often, and that's why I try to tell my
Yeah.
kids, I'm like, "It's guys, it's not that you can't have this, but this is what the sugar does to your body, or this is how your body" explain to them, "When you
Oh,
put this in your body, this is how
okay.
your body reacts, and this is what you do." And so, if you wanna have that ice cream, okay, that's fine, but just know your body is taking the sugar, it's doing this, it's turning it into this, and then explain in tandem with that how moving your body is key to helping your body process that stuff, and just explain it to them, like be honest.
Yeah.
And we'll tell them that, no, it's not the best choice. I know you want it, so maybe we'll have it today, but then we're not going to have it for a while.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to put that label on everything moving forward, because I know it was that's how I looked at food
Mhm.
through most of my life. And then, like you said, it becomes those items when, oh, that's so bad for me. I'm going to go get it. And you're going to have five of them.
Mhm.
Because that's just how our brain works, right?
It
So,
is.
I'm very big believer of all things in moderation, and just teach the kids, teach people, because there's so many people out there who don't understand
There
good
is.
and bad, better choices. Um, just teach people about it. Do
Yeah,
your
I
research.
do
You want the ice cream, have the ice cream,
gelato.
but have a little bit and have it
E
once a month.
exactly. I do gelato once a month. It is literally my treat, and I don't care. I'm like, once a month gelato isn't gonna break the bank. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I like
No,
this
but I
idea
think
of
that's
not
what
good
got us
versus
into a
bad.
lot of our issues. Yeah. And for me, like, I know that's why I did a lot of this, right? Because I would do the keto, and then I would binge on this stuff. And then I would do the Weight Watchers or whatever, and then I would binge on this stuff. And it's this continual up and down and up and down and up and down.
Mhm. Yeah. So when it comes to food, that kind of explains where we were at before surgery. Um, diets weren't working. Everybody knows diets don't work. They weren't long term. They weren't something you were going to be able to stay
They're
with
like super
forever.
effective.
No, and they don't take into account real life, eating out with friends, going on a vacation, having a bad week, budgets, meal
Yeah.
prepping, feeding children.
Just
They're
being
never going to
busy.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I tried
No.
dieting. I tried
And
eating better.
just
And
not
it,
having a healthy relationship with food.
yeah, that was the big thing. I would still binge. I would still eat what I needed to eat. One of the very big things that I told people right up until surgery, oh, I don't actually eat enough. I'm in starvation mode. I actually skip breakfast and lunch and I barely eat. So, I actually need to eat more. And that's the problem. And like delusional is all hell about this. But I wouldn't eat breakfast and lunch. I would wake up and just not be hungry. And I would sit at my computer and work
Great
all day,
breakfast.
and then by 3:30, I'd be like, great, I'm going to eat a whole bag of goldfish crackers. And then I'm going to eat like 3 ice cream bars. And then I'm probably going to order
Mhm.
something. But I don't realize that. There's going to be people in the comments being like, yeah, well, of course, like, look at what you were eating. I didn't know. Like, I
You have
wasn't
to have it
able.
like that in the moment.
No. Tell me right off the top of your head how many calories are in a whole bag of goldfish. You don't know, and you will always
Right.
underestimate. Always. You will never calculate calories correctly. So I always underestimated. And I wouldn't think of calories. I would just go, I only really had a club sandwich and some french fries today. That's not bad because like I didn't have breakfast or lunch. Oh, right. The bag of
Yeah.
goldfish, and I did have some ice cream bars, and then before bed, I did, need to have something else because I was still kinda hungry, and I forgot that that one meal that I ordered out was, like, 1,500 calories.
Right. But
So
a lot of the eating is mindless eating too when you're in that state, right? So, like, when
Mhm.
you talk about a bag of goldfish, you typically, and I think this is why too, like, our program has said when you're eating to, like, sit at the table, not sit in front of the TV, to not have anything else going on, because a lot of the
Yes.
times we're sitting on the couch watching TV, we're working, we're doing whatever. It becomes mindless eating, and you don't realize how much of that bag of goldfish you've eaten or how many of those chips you've eaten. Um, and that quickly adds up. And that's why you're like, oh, I only had a few. But then if you really look at the bag, three-quarters of the bag is missing. And a lot of that also then, like, oh my gosh, have never been a breakfast person. I never ate breakfast. I am now forcing myself post workout to eat breakfast. And
Good.
literally, like, I am forcing myself to eat the yogurt. I don't want to do it. It doesn't feel great for me,
You
but
need it.
I have to do it. Um, yeah, but a lot of that too, it's empty calories. That's the other thing. Because the relationship with food is so shitty, and because we don't understand the better foods and the better choices and how those foods impact our body, we don't know that we should be focusing on protein. We don't know that we should be mixing these types of carbs and these types of vegetables, whatever it may be. So you end up eating all these empty calories and you're like, yeah, okay, maybe I did only eat XYZ today. But if there's barely any protein in there, you're still going to be starving. You're just going to keep trying to fill that hunger, not knowing how to do it properly. And
Correct.
then all of a sudden you've had 3,500 calories, but you're still hungry and you can't figure out why.
Yeah, and that's a lot of problem with most people going into bariatric surgery is you don't know how to track your calories. A great example I used with Steph the other day was crumble cookie. They're opening a couple crumble cookies in Canada, but I
Oh my
said, "Did you
gosh.
know?" Right? Did you know crumble cookie is technically 4 servings
That's
per
big.
cookie? So most of the cookies are 900 to 1,200 calories a cookie. How many people are just having a cookie, right? Also, how many are having a cookie a week? A couple cookies a month, right? Like it's a cookie
Right.
and the calories are almost 9 to 1,200 in most of them. So this is where it happens. You don't realize that when you went out to the
Insane.
restaurant and got that salad's 900 calories. Like you didn't realize that you ordered something or you bought something because we're just not used to portion sizes and calorie counting. So I think that's been the biggest help after surgery for me is being way more hyper aware of what a
Oh my
normal
God. Yeah.
portion size is because my portion sizes were fucked before surgery. I think the other big
Yeah.
thing was yes, we
And
worked out and we just didn't do it consistently.
not enough.
We didn't do the right workouts. We tried to go too hard. So I had a trainer, she had a trainer, her trainer was a bit better. Not that mine was bad. It's just there's no way I was going to achieve anything 2 hours a week. Like that's not enough because I would go to this personal trainer 2 hours a week and I would work out to the point of wanting to vomit, throw up, and die. Like I was going hard. And I remember being angry that, like, if you could only see what I'm doing in these sessions, you wouldn't judge me or think I was fat because, like, I am working out harder than I've ever seen other people work out. And I'm so physically weak and on the verge of vomiting and dying. Like, I must be working out so well. And the truth was, because I was working out so hard, I couldn't work out for 3 or 4 days after. I was in excruciating pain. I was fucking exhausted. I overate like a motherfucker to make up for how horrible I just treated my body because I was not fueling before or after. And that led to more weight gain because I wasn't actually doing what I should have been doing, which was get out and walk every day for 30 minutes. And I would have actually lost more weight than doing 2 hours of the most high intense, insane workouts ever with no plan for how to do things on my off days, eat better, fuel my body for that workout, and also no real understanding of why in the fuck would that cause me to lose weight? And it didn't. And I got
And I
pissed
think
off
the
and quit.
key, yeah. And the key there too, like, totally, because you're not seeing the results, right? And I think the other key
Correct.
thing there is a lot of us go into this thinking, well, if I'm working out, that should solve everything, not understanding that nutrition plays such a huge part in the equation. Exercise is just a small part of it. It's much more nutrition than it is exercise. And I remember, like, I would always think, and I don't, like I said, I loved, Hannah and I have a little bit different, we'll talk about this in an episode. We have a little bit different opinion on trainers and our
We do.
experiences, which is totally fair. I had great success with my trainer. I loved my trainer. I would still go see him today if I could, but I live too far away. But COVID hit, all of that kind of stuff happened. I let myself go. I dropped the ball. And I didn't continue on with that accountability on myself. However, I definitely had the mindset of, oh, well, I went to see him this morning and I worked out and I did all my workouts at the gym. So, of course, I can have pizza and this and this and this because my workout cancels it out. Well, no, that's not that's not how it works. It's I can't remember the percentage, but it's like 80% nutrition, 20% exercise. Like the majority, I've always heard the saying, not that I care about having six-pack abs, and I probably never will have them, but
Never say never. Never say
six-pack abs are
never.
made in the kitchen. Not right. You never know. You never
Never
know.
know. Never know.
But this one trainer that I follow now on my online workouts, the program I'm doing now, at the end of every episode, it's funny because there's two versions of his workout program. There's an explicit version of the workouts and then a non-explicit version. But I like when he swears, it just, I don't know. I love this trainer. I've seen him in person. Something about him swearing and his demeanor just like riles me up.
I love
So
it.
I watch the explicit ones. And he says in every episode, I'm gonna swear, he says in every episode, now don't go fuck this up with your crap ass nutrition. Because he always says, he goes, you
Wow.
busted your ass in this workout. Don't go fuck it up in the kitchen. Because so much of it is food. And I never knew that. I never understood that. I knew everybody and I knew the trainers and everybody was always like, you got to eat healthy. You got to eat healthy. But I didn't realize the impact. And I just always thought, well, I'm working out. It's fine. I'm working out. I can eat that. It's fine. I burned off the calories. It's fine. That's not how it works.
No.
I hate to burst the bubble, but that's not reality.
Burst the bubble because it is true, but nutrition is more important. And so I think for most of us, we just don't want to admit it. But nutrition is what's holding us back and what was holding us back. It doesn't matter if I went out and ran marathons at 320 pounds, my nutrition was shit. And I'm still learning to overcome that just because I'm 2.5 years post op. I am in no way an expert and I still struggle. And I see why Regain is so popular. Not popular, wrong word, but why it's prevalent. Because even I struggle with like, yeah, there's more that I need to be doing and I'm not. The biggest thing that led me to surgery was the fact that I knew I wasn't going to stick to another diet, that I was lazy. Like eventually you kind of have to wake up and stop blaming mystery illnesses, stop blaming PCOS, stop blaming that you're working out too hard, stop saying you're in starvation mode. Like, yeah, like I eventually just said, it's me and I'm never going to be able to change on my own. I'm not going to be able to stick to a diet. I don't know how to work out properly. I don't know what I'm doing. If I could just get some of this excess weight off my body, I am committed to doing what I need to do to keep it off. And sometimes you have to start from the back and work your way forward. And for me, that's what I had to admit was I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I'm obese. I eat terribly and I am the problem. You can't be a victim forever and expect this to work. And there are things that didn't help, like PCOS didn't help, but you've heard me say before, it didn't make me obese. I just chose instant gratification over work. Yeah, it just makes it harder. I chose instant gratification. I was more interested in feeling good from eating.
Yeah, you have to admit that you can't do it. Like for me, I think the hard part was same thing, taking ownership and accountability, admitting that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And then, I definitely like the PCOS, the hormone issues, the thyroid definitely made it way harder. Because we know it is harder to lose weight with PCOS. It's not impossible, but it is harder. And like with my thyroid, I was literally so exhausted all the time. The last thing I wanted to do was work out. Okay, fair. But it was up to me to put on my big girl pants and go do it anyway. But I didn't. And
Neither did
so
I.
it's admitting that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, but then it's also admitting that I need help. I can't do this. I can't get it done by myself. I need help. And that's a scary thing for a lot of people
You need
to
drastic
admit
help.
defeat.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was a big thing for me, was to be able to finally say, okay, I can't do this by myself.
No. And this is important help. We're not talking about people that have an extra 20 pounds to lose who are like, oh, it like, not that losing 20 pounds is not that's a lot. Congratulations. But you know what I mean? Like these are
Yeah.
people,
Those are
we
drastic,
were people that like
drastic things.
needed to lose over 100 pounds. Like I had to lose over 100 pounds. Like I'm glad I've gone past that. Um, because 320
Yeah.
pounds is absurd that I let myself get that bad. But like, the thing that Steph kind of nailed here is it's very easy to give up when you're obese. Very easy because literally the scales are stacked against you. Like literally you can be like, well, what does it matter? I didn't lose an inch of like I'm going to be this weight anyway. Might as well eat that burger. Who gives a shit? Like it's not like I'm going to be skinny tomorrow. So here you go. And you always hold that against you that like
Yeah.
it's fine to quit. It's fine to give up. What does it matter? You're already big to begin with.
Yeah.
And surgery gives you the power to be like, and I know a lot of people are going to hate that I'm saying this, but the days that you didn't want to work out because you were tired, it was easy when you were obese to be like, oh, well, who gives a fuck? I'll be obese tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. Now that you've had surgery, I still have days where I'm tired. And that has led me to realize it wasn't just obesity. Like, I got to take my vitamins. I got to shake myself out. I got to stop like giving in to these
Yeah.
things. Because when I was obese, I was like, well, it's because I'm obese. It's because I'm obese. I'm so tired. It's because I'm
Right.
fat. So it's not
Right.
me. It's because I'm fat. And the truth
I
was,
can't do
I'm
it. I
drink.
can't do it.
Yeah, the truth is I'm sleeping like shit. I'm staying up too late. There was a lot of other factors. So now when I'm tired, because it still happens, there'll be the middle of the day where I'm like, fucking exhausted. Now I say to myself, yeah, but you're thin now. And if you don't get out and do this, like you will go back to the way you were before. And I know people are going to be like, Hannah, what the fuck? But
Right.
when I was obese, I used to just give up because I was fat and who cares? Like now that I'm not, yeah, that definitely gets me to put my shoes on and get the hell out the door because I don't want to go back to that. I really don't because it was a
Don't want to be back
miserable
there.
way to live.
There's
Yep.
a really good quote, and I'm going to try and pick it up on my phone. But it's true because it's the pain of staying the same needs to be more than the pain of change.
Yep.
And that's one that I always have in my head because like I said, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back to that constant pain and tiredness and soreness because now my tiredness and my pain and my soreness come from good things. They come from getting up at 4:45 and busting my butt and working out and getting my walks in and moving more and doing things and being more active
Mm-hmm.
versus I'm tired, I'm sore, and I'm in pain because my body is carrying over 300 pounds every day
Yeah.
doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm physically like breaking my body
Yep.
in a non-positive way. Um, so no, I I don't want to go back to experiencing those things for those reasons. If I'm
Not at
in
all.
pain and tired and sore, I want it to be because I was productive, because I did something good for my body, because there's a positive outcome at the end of it,
Yeah. Or
not just
because
because
I have
I'm
finally
over 300
determined,
pounds.
yeah, or because like, oh, maybe now I should talk to my doctor because guess what? That pain wasn't weight related,
Right.
Like that's the other thing. I know people get
Right.
really upset about having to talk about weight during this process and just in general. And I do agree. When I was obese, and I was very morbidly obese, my weight was a constant topic any doctor's
Mm.
appointment I went to. I can now reflect back on that and
Oh,
say it was
the first
so,
thing. Well, if you
yeah,
would just lose weight.
but I can definitely admit and be the bigger person, no pun intended, to say it was very childish of me to get upset about that and to think that that had anything to do with
They're
fat
not wrong.
phobia or like, which is just absurd. After losing the
They're
amount
never
of weight I've
wrong.
lost, they were absolutely right to think that the weight was the number one cause because the weight was the literal number
Yeah.
one cause of the majority of my
Yeah.
issues. My blood pressure, my cholesterol, the
There's
numbness in
yeah.
my leg,
Yeah.
the back sciatica, like all weight related.
Yeah. There may
So,
have been a better way to approach it in some of the
sure.
doctors I've seen.
Yes,
I mean,
I
the
agree.
the bedside manner could have been a little better, but at the end of the day, what they're getting at is they're not wrong.
Yeah.
And it's funny
You just don't
because
wanna
I don't
hear
know
it.
if you've had this too. Right. What I've had recently with people that I haven't seen in a while and now I'm seeing them again, or just in conversation with like family and friends, is they'll talk about, oh my gosh, you've lost so much weight, look at you, da 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 da. And then they'll say, well, how much more are you going to go? Like, are you done yet? How
Oh,
much further are
fuck.
you going to go? And I was like, okay, before, when I was over 300 pounds, it was always, oh my gosh, you need to lose weight. Oh my gosh, your health. Oh my gosh, we're worried about you. Oh my gosh, this. And then when you start to lose weight, now they're like, oh my gosh, you're losing weight? Are you losing too much? Are you done? Are you going to
Oh,
stop?
boy.
I'm like, well, which is it, guys? Like, when I was morbidly obese, you were down my throat all the time to lose weight and to look after
Yeah.
myself. And now I'm doing it. And now it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And so I usually my answer is, and this isn't incorrect. Like, I personally don't have a number. I
Yep.
don't have, okay, I want to be X number of pounds. I think because I don't know, because I've never been
Yeah.
X number of pounds, I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, it's kind of the answer as well. My body will stop when it's done, like it will figure itself out. And I'll just know when I hit a place that I'm comfortable, I'm confident, I'm happy, but no, I'm not done. And it just makes me laugh every time this comes up now with people, and just the shock of, wow, how much more? Well, like, there's just no pleasing people, it seems
There is
sometimes,
not.
on either end of the spectrum. It's very
No,
interesting.
I think a lot of it too comes from, we talked about it in an episode before, the notion of, oh, you can't get better than me. You can't be thinner than me. You have to remain the fat friend forever. So, because there are times I've mentioned to people, I still have about 15 more pounds to lose. And the response I get is, oh my God, no. Like, how are you losing more weight? Like, oh, you have nothing left to lose. And I'm like, first of all, fuck off. Second of all, yeah, I have a
Let me
goal
show
that,
you.
yeah, I have a goal that I am aiming for. And if I want to aim for it, I'm going to aim for it. But I do think some of it comes from like, if they continue to keep losing weight, then I need to reflect on my own lifestyle. And like, I think we've said it before, guilt through association. They feel like we're shaming them or guilting them, and we're not. But like, yeah, when you're obese, it's just your health, your health, your health. And now that you're skinny, it's still somehow your health, and you're not making the right choices, and you're not eating enough, or you should eat more, or you're running too much, and that's going to
Yeah,
kill you. And it's like, I run
yeah.
3 days a week. How is
Your
that going to
workout
kill
looks
me?
so expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, yeah.
and I
So
think,
I've had family
right?
talk about how they think I'm excessively exercising and that there must be something wrong with me. And I was like, so you never said a word when I'd sit on the couch and binge eat and never, don't leave my house for a whole week.
Right.
And that was
But whenever
fine.
I'm working out,
Literally 3 days a week. And you seem to think that that's excessive. So people will just never be happy. Um, but I think that's what led
yeah,
me to surgery as well. Is Steph mentioned like carrying the extra
yeah,
weight, the pain in your body, all that crap.
yeah,
The other big thing when you're obese is the mental load you carry. And I know this is shitty.
yeah.
I'm going to say, I'm going to just like trigger warning. This is shitty to say. You're treated like shit when you're obese.
Do it.
Sorry, but like the boys aren't looking at you. They're not really flirting
The
with
looks,
you.
the looks in
You're just treated
public, the
differently.
stares in public.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
the looks you
judgment.
get, the stares you get, the judgment you get. When you go to a restaurant, people look and see what you're ordering. They see how much of your plate you
Oh,
finished.
you're
When
eating
you go
that?
to try clothes
Oh,
on and you walk into a store to check if it has plus size and it doesn't, the look you get from it's constant.
constant.
And
Yep.
I think the other reason that some of those comments come too is, and this is what I try to tell myself also, is people don't deal well with change in general.
They don't.
Change is hard for people. So not
Very.
only are you're making a lot of changes physically, but as we've said, I'm not the same person I was 6 months ago, let alone 3 months ago. I'm a very
Correct.
different person. And so you are changing on all fronts
Mm-hmm.
very quickly. And especially for people who I haven't seen in a while, that's
Mm,
a big change to see all of a sudden. And that causes fear and panic, and people don't deal with change well. So
no.
you have to also remember, or I try to remember, that I've been through this process for a long time. I was in the process for a year before surgery.
Same.
I have been going through this for ages. These people, it's kind of a shock to them.
It is.
So I have to also keep that in my mind sometimes and be like, okay, okay, I get it. This is very new to you. This is very foreign to you. Um, which is kind of funny, but it's just, yeah, I don't, there's a lot
It's
of different
foreign.
pieces to it, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's
Yeah.
foreign. They have a lot of questions they don't understand. Um, They think it's the easy way out. They think that we went too extreme. But the truth is, everything we told you about what we were like before surgery, you don't understand what that's like unless you're obese. And I'm not talking chubby overweight. I'm talking morbidly obese. And if one more person tells me, well, Hannah, you weren't, yes, I was. I was 320 pounds, guys. You've seen the before and after photos. Like, I am a completely different person. And I didn't even realize what life was like to be this thin. And when you're obese, and you can tell me I'm wrong, but you know I'm not wrong because I was you. When you're obese, all you dream about is being skinny. And I know there's gonna be people being like, no, we dream about a lot of other things. Sure, I'm not saying that was the only thought in my fucking head, but all I dreamed about was wearing a bikini, being skinny, having a guy flirt with me, um, just not being fat because you carry
Fitting
your
to society.
yeah, you carry your obesity in your head more than on your body. And the world is not designed for us. And I'm not looking for sympathy and pity because truthfully, I knew I was
No,
unhealthy.
you
I
can't.
knew that this was not the lifestyle I should have had. I didn't expect society to conform and all of a sudden start loving me because the truth
Mhm.
was I did not love
I did
myself.
this to myself.
Yes, I didn't love myself at all, and I didn't. I fucking hated how I looked. I wouldn't look in mirrors. I didn't wanna I was miserable. My mom said, remember this vividly. Now, this is a argument my mom and I are gonna have to have out one day, but she was like, "You were such a bitch when you were fat." And I was like, "What in the fuck? Who says that to someone?" She's like, "You were just so
Uh,
mean. You were so spiteful and so mean." And I was like, "I'm still spiteful and mean. I guess I can just get away with it being thin." But she was like, "You just weren't a pleasant person to be around." And
It's when you're happy.
I wasn't, and I had another friend say, "Have you looked at, like, everything you've posted recently? Because all you do is smile, you show your teeth, like, you're so happy, and it just comes
Yeah.
through in your photos." Now, do I still have
Isn't
days?
it
Yeah,
just crazy that
it
how people
is.
notice that?
It's just it like,
Yeah,
people pick up on
I get that all
your
the I get messages.
confidence.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I get messages all the time now from people when I post, like, my workout selfies. People will be like, "I don't you think I'm not noticing that you're posting in a tank top?"
Yeah,
And I was like, "Oh, shit,
yeah.
I
"Hey,
am."
you look really
Whereas
good in that
before, like, I would
outfit."
get changed before
Yeah,
posting something. Yeah, or it's like, "Look at this, look at like, you're glowing." The amount of times I get messages from people saying, "Oh my god, you're glowing."
yeah.
And it's funny because when I'm trying to put together, like, before and afters. Do
I'm
you
so bad
think
at that.
I can find before photos?
No.
Because I would do everything in my power to not be in a photo. I
Yes.
have lots of photos of my kids. I have lots of photos of Devin and the kids. I have lots of photos of everybody else. For the life of me, when I went shopping the other week and I took pictures in the fitting rooms, I was like,
Yes.
"Oh, I should do before and after."
Yep.
I could not find one photo head to
None.
toe of me before. Not
Nope.
one. I'm either
I've
behind
none.
people or it's this.
Yes.
I was like, I can't even do a before and after because I don't have one.
I'm trying to do more because, like,
Yeah.
mentally, it really helps me realize, like, when we talk body dysmorphia in
That's
a
why,
couple of weeks,
yeah,
like,
it's
I
true.
need the photos to tell me,
Yeah,
like, I'm doing good, and I know that's fucked up, but I need them. I do not have before photos. I never
absolutely.
bothered to take photos. I literally think I'm gonna have to message people in my life and say, "If you have photos of me, can you send them to me? Because I really need some more before
Yeah,
photos to be like, what the fuck?" But
you need the reassurance that you're on the right track,
you're
and because
fine
we've talked about this, because we see each other. Yeah, because you see yourself every day, all the time.
all the
You
time.
don't notice the changes, right?
And I'd
So you
say,
need those before and after. So key.
yeah, I'd say this year, if I can give anybody advice, we got kind of off topic about what led us to surgery, but I said to Steph, and I hold this true, and maybe I'm manifesting this myself, but I think this will be the hardest year of surgery is this year, is going into this third year. Cause I just started my third year, right? I just hit my 2 year anniversary a couple weeks ago. This, I think, will be my hardest challenge because I'm kind of back to normal. The weight loss has slowed down. A lot could go wrong. It's not going to because I'm very disciplined. We're going to be fine. But this is that time
It'll
where
be great.
you just came off of like 2 years, mainly 1 year. Your first year is just like celebrations and people commenting on your weight loss and you just being amazed and
Enjoying
amazed
it.
and
Yeah.
amazed. And like every other month, you're like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Like you're dropping weight, you're
We're talking
rapidly changing
about
dress sizes, which is awesome. Then you get to this point where you're like, okay, so I'm not rapidly dropping and I'm not rapidly losing weight. And it's almost like a really big mind fuck for me. And we'll do a whole episode on this to shift. We'll do it in body dysmorphia to shift to, yeah, but like you can celebrate other things now. Like it's almost like the most fuckery of like, I still really love my life and I'm a really happy person now. And I love being able to like thrift and try on clothes. And like, I'm doing all these clothes haul now. And
Yes.
I never thought I would. But there are days where I'm like, I don't get to celebrate as much as I used to. And that's bullshit because I should be celebrating every day how much weight I've lost and tell people to go fuck themselves. But
Yes.
it's just this like, you don't wake up in the mirror and go, oh my God, we're down another 20 pounds. Like, it's weird because it's like, oh, now
You
you're
don't see
just
it.
normal. And that's kind of tough to lose the like whole celebratory,
It is tough.
really exciting part of it. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is why I was never successful before. If we brought it back to the main topic, why did we have surgery? Couldn't we have done this on our own? And didn't we try everything? I did not try everything. I did not try hard enough. And I am big enough to admit that I did not stick anything through. I had no discipline because, and I don't know what it's not everybody, but when you're obese, it is hard
Yeah.
to stick to a plan, to have discipline, and to see anything through because you're very used at that point to instant gratification. You're obviously eating because it gives you joy, or you're eating because you are depressed. There's a reason you're overeating and you're not addressing it. And it's usually instant gratification. You eat because it makes you feel better, or you're eating because you're celebrating something, versus I'm just eating to sustain myself. I would never stick with a workout plan because I
Because
didn't
I'm
see
actually
instant
hungry.
yeah, I didn't see instant results ever. So I didn't bother sticking with it because in my mind, I should have been skinny faster. And this is just some straight up bullshit. But if I look back at the times I did exercise, I was healthier looking. I did shed some pounds.
Mhm.
I just did not pick anything
You were
sustainable.
stronger.
Yeah, I'm trying to go to the gym every morning at 8 a.m. in January in Ottawa. Yeah, because I'm going to drive through that to get to the gym
Hard
versus
pass.
like, yeah,
Hard pass.
I tell everybody there was one year that I actually did lose a lot of weight. I lost 50 pounds on my own. And they were like, whoa, how? And I was like, oh, I walked to and from work in Toronto. I walked 30 minutes to pick up the bus and I walked 30 minutes home. And here's what I ate: McDonald's, McDonald's, Chinese takeout, McDonald's,
Revolutionary.
McDonald's. Yeah. Well, and all I ate was shitty fast fucking food because I was like a camp counselor with a low budget and I ate nothing but
Yeah.
bullshit. And people were like, no way. And I was like, yes, fucking way. Like I walked my ass off, was in a calorie deficit because of how much walking I did. And I ate shit food, but I didn't eat a lot of it. And I'm not at, do not do what I
Right.
did. I was a camp counselor living on dollar drinks and french fries. It was horrible for me, but I digress.
Yeah.
I knew my
But
body
you
could
were
lose the
moving
weight.
your body in a sustainable way.
And I felt good. Like I wasn't hungry. I was eating what I wanted to eat, but I was like
Great.
busting my ass with the walking, but it didn't
Yeah.
feel like it. I'd call my friend Kyle after work and I'd be like, chat with me for 30 minutes while I walk home.
Chad.
And it was great.
Right. And that's why everybody's like, "Oh, I can't. I'm too big to work out. I'm too old to work out. My joints are too bad to work out."
I get it.
Everybody has it in their mind, and I think again, like to tie it back, I was the same.
Yeah.
Everybody has it in their mind that again, you got to go balls to the wall and it's got to be this insane, intense, hardcore dieting, working out, or you're
Seven
not going to
days
see
a
success.
week.
We make
Yeah.
it so overcomplicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, we overcomplicate it. We set
Walk.
unrealistic standards and unrealistic goals for ourselves, and it's not necessary. Like, tone it back.
Yeah.
Start small. If all you can do is walk for 5 minutes, then walk for 5 minutes because it's 5 minutes more than you would have moved if you would have sat your ass on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
So, all of this, I can't do that workout. I can't do this.
It's too
Nobody's
hard.
telling you to.
Whoa. Nope.
Like, just pay attention to what you're eating,
Mm-hmm.
focus on your protein, make better choices, and just start moving a little bit. A
Yes.
little bit. But
Um,
so much of it, I think, comes down to just not understanding things, not paying
yes.
attention, and having unrealistic expectations.
Unrealistic expectations for what you should be doing as well. So not even just how much you're going to lose, but get off the internet, stop watching all those people that work out 7 days a week. Please do not do what I'm doing. I had somebody say, "Oh, well, like you're my inspiration. I should work out like you do." No, you absolutely should not. Do you know how long it took me to start running? When I had surgery, the literal only thing I did was walk. Walk, 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 walk. Now, Strength training probably should have been thrown in there just for like, so my muscles didn't waste away as much, not because I think you need to be working out 18 different times a week, but walk. And Steph's right, start small, but eventually you have to scale up. You cannot walk for 10 minutes a day and go, well, Steph and
You gotta
Hannah said I'd
challenge
lose
yourself.
weight and I'm
No.
not losing weight. No, start small, but your goal needs to eventually to be getting to 40 minutes roughly. Like you should be trying to aim for a 5K, which is roughly like a 45-minute walk. That sounds crazy, but it is like a 45-minute walk.
You need to challenge yourself.
Yes, because again, it is exercise.
Yeah.
So you can't be like, well, I did 10 minutes a day. It's not enough. So start small, but eventually you need to get yourself to a good spot and then just walk. And walking is something you can do in the rain, in the snow, with bad hips, with bad joints, with sort like you can go
Get
to
a walking
places that it
pad.
works. Get a walking pad for home. Go to an indoor walking track. If you have a dog, you're probably already hitting your goals. If you need to use a walker, use a walker. If you need to bring some hiking poles, bring some hiking poles. We're not saying you need to hike Everest or run, walk. And I did not wake up and run right after surgery. It was not until a year after surgery, and it was well past a year. It was a year and a half that I said, I'm going to slowly start training to run. And that was my personal decision, and I still hold true. You probably won't lose weight running, so make sure you don't do it right away because the hunger that comes with it and the need to fuel your body properly with carbs and sugar, you need somebody to help you figure that out, or you're literally going to do a Michael Scott and eat some fucking carbonara and try to run a 5K. You have to talk to someone who can teach you, like, how many carbs are appropriate, how to fuel after your run. The hunger that comes from running could derail you if you don't have proper control. So walk. Walking never spiked my blood sugar. It never spiked my hunger. I could go at my own pace. I could stop and breathe and take a rest. You also don't have to do the whole like stop, pause, tie your shoes, sit down, look at the sky. But don't
Take a breather.
emulate other people. Do not go all in. Wait until you've lost some substantial weight to try harder things like CrossFit or running or cycling. Just because you see other people do it doesn't mean that your body's going to look like theirs either. There's a lot of people I used to be like, well, they spin and I want a body like that, so I should spin. And the exhaustion and the pain and the fatigue on my body doing spin when I was fat was horrible. So
Oh
slow,
my gosh. No.
slow, go slow. The other big thing
It's a
is like,
marathon, guys. It's not a race.
it's yeah. Weight training's important, but when we say weight training, we mean get some weights, lift some weights. When you feel good about that, try a slightly higher weight. I don't mean go to the HIIT class or the TRX class or the body pump or the CrossFit. Like what ends up happening is injury, overexertion, you aren't fueling enough. Like are they fun? Sure, but are they going to cause
You're not
massive weight
curling 40
loss?
pounds off the back, guy.
No. So go slow, have a realistic goal. And then, like Steph said, nutrition has to be involved. And like the biggest thing my therapist would tell me is you can't set unrealistic expectations. Like when I was trying to figure out how to log my food, and I was like, well, I'll log it every day. She's like, that's not a realistic goal. You're not going to do it every day. Why don't we start with 3 days? Try to aim for 3 days a week, logging what you eat. And then we'll go from there. And so I always listen to that voice in my head that goes, do you really think it's realistic to get out and start doing this every single day? No. That's why I don't run every
No.
day because
Yeah.
I knew I would never stick with that.
Is it sustainable?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
So
it sustainable? And if the answer is no, don't do it.
don't do it.
You're not
And
ready. And then you're just going to set yourself up to fail.
yep.
You're going to get frustrated. You're going to say, forget this, and you're done.
Yep.
Sustainable, small, achievable goals.
Yeah. And then just be realistic with yourself that it's not everybody else's fault. Yes, there are things, but it's not everybody else's fault that you're obese. At some point, you kind of have to give your life a look and really determine what is it that's causing you to be obese and don't lean on medical issues or medication. Yes, they're definitely making you overweight, but just take a look and go, what am I really eating? Do I actually know the calories going in and going out? And the other big thing with that too is when you're looking at don't pick random stupid fad diets. Eat high protein, eat clean foods. Do not pick calorie deficits out of thin air. The amount of people that I see posting on social being like, so I'm eating 1400 calories a day. Are you a bariatric patient? Because if you're not, that's absurd. Because most women, a calorie deficit for most women is 1800 calories. For some women, it's 2000. Like, going down to 14, 13, 12 makes no sense unless you are a bariatric patient. So do not do that either. That was a huge thing for me. I would calorie restrict. And that's why you hear people say, don't count calories. No, you should be counting calories if you're a bariatric patient. But I would try to restrict before being educated and while being obese. And I'd go, okay, 1200, that's what I should be eating. That's going to cause the biggest amount of weight loss. Not sustainable, makes literally no sense at all. And you need to calculate it based on how big you are today, because you're probably eating 28, 3000 calories, and there's no way your body can handle cutting that in half and feel good and still maintain what you need to maintain. So when it comes to eating well, start slow as well. Very slow. Don't even maybe think about calories right off the bat. Think about getting more protein. And then when you've mastered that, then maybe go, can I cut 2 or 300 calories out of my day? And sustain that for a good chunk of time before you cut it lower. You can't go from 0 to 100 when it comes to eating. Your body is not ready and
No,
will not respond.
no, no. Totally agree.
Yeah. So that is our advice on why we had surgery, because there was a lot that just didn't work. We did not try everything. We were not disciplined, and we had a lot of problems we were not willing to maybe admit in the moment. And surgery gave us all the tools to continue to combat that. It did not solve it, and it did not fight that fight for us. It just brought attention to what we really need to pay attention to for life to be successful.
And, and
Um,
allowed us to work through a lot of that,
Yeah, and we're
which
still
is
working
key.
through it, and you'll always work through it. No matter if you're 6 months or 2 years post-op, you will continuously work through that, because this is a journey for life now. This is something that if you're looking for something that's one and done, sit back, it's done, I don't have to worry about it anymore. This is also not for you, because the nutrition, the exercise, the thinking about, the paying attention, the listening to cues, the challenging bad habits will be for life. For life. So this is a lot of work. If you're thinking about doing it, it's not easy. It's worth it. This was the best decision I
Yep,
ever made in my
but
life, and I
it's not
wish I
easy.
did it sooner. But it is every day. There's something new to learn, to do, to challenge. And now I'm in one of the harder stretches, which is doing this on your own, knowing that you could potentially start gaining weight. Is a scary, scary place to be.
But you'll crush it.
Oh, fucking better. Speaking of, we are really excited that we have a guest joining us where we're going to be talking about body dysmorphia. So
Mhm.
I'm really excited.
I'm so excited. I have
It's
followed her since before.
Yeah,
Yeah, I followed her since before surgery, and she was one of the people that I binged her content before surgery. So I'm super pumped that she's going to be on.
yeah, yeah. I'm very excited too. So we've posted all over Instagram that we're being joined by Bypass. Is it Bypass
My
By or
first
yeah?
cat.
Yeah, there we go. Bypass Cass is joining us. Check her out on TikTok if you have not seen her. She's got some amazing videos out there. But we're going to talk about body dysmorphia because, like, she hitting us hard. So she had bypass. We had sleeve. So we're also really curious to hear about what bypass is like versus what sleeve is like. So
Yep.
send us your questions. Drop them on social media. Let us know what you want us to talk about, what you want us to ask her. But that we're just so excited about this. So that episode will be out May 5th. We absolutely cannot wait for that. So just get excited that that is coming up, and that will be one of our upcoming episodes. So yeah, send in those questions. I know it's
Love it.
great. Well, have a happy, I mean, I hope you had a happy Easter weekend because it passed, but like always, Steph, just thank you for joining me, and thanks everybody who's listening for continuing to join us on this adventure.
Anytime. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, everybody. Bye.
Bye.